as we look back at the 2021 NBA draft and focus in on the top four picks, they are all set for their sophomore season. Which of these young players do you believe will take the biggest leap this season?
You know what? Actually, they all can, if I'm going to be honest. I think that they all have what it takes. We're talking about their second season in the league. We're not expecting, and if you look back at some of the greats, they weren't all that solid, in their second year in the league. And so it takes some time to really build up to superstardom that we are now ravishing over LeBron James. And we still speak of Michael Jordan, and we talk about Steph Curry and, these greats that are currently in the 75 anniversary list and all that. They didn't start
Mhm.
off just coming out the gate, right? So I think that there is still some room for these players to, of course, develop into who their star status will be. But their sophomore year, they all could potentially take a leap, which would be great, which would be a great asset to their future stardom. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm looking at Scotty Barnes. Here's a guy who won the Rookie of the Year.
mhm.
Now, for me, I was on the fence between him and Evan Mobley for Rookie of the Year, but as we know, the Cavs and Evan suffered injuries that kind of propelled Scotty up to Rookie of the Year winner. Now, Scotty is a stone cold baller. I mean, he's one of our favorite players to
Yeah.
talk about on this channel. What do you think about Scotty Barnes?
I like Scotty Barnes. I like Scotty Barnes. I think what Scotty Barnes brings to the Raptors and to the game of basketball is that he's able to play any position, right? His stature, his height, his abilities allow him to play the point. You need him to be the forward. You need him to bank up against the five. Like he has more versatility in his game, in my opinion, than the other three that are listed on the this tweet for me. So I think that's one of his advantages, and I think that as he continues to develop in his sophomore year with the Raptors, and they continue to utilize him in the various positions, which makes a positionless basketball team for the Raptors a threat to other teams in the league. I think it's pretty good for his skill set to be that type of player.
Yeah, speaking of his skill set, now a lot of people compare him to a young Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I cannot be mad at the comparison. I mean, that's incredible to be, talked about in the same conversation as Giannis. I mean, wow, Scotty. The thing with Scotty though, he plays with some really top tier talent. You're talking
Yep.
about Pascal, Fred, Gary, and OG. Even with that,
Mm-hmm.
he's still the starting power forward. I mean, he could bring the ball up, as you mentioned. He could play great defense, both sides of the basketball, runs the floor like a gazelle. Scotty he's just phenomenal. He could take a big leap.
Yes, yes, yes. And considering where he's playing, like let's not forget Nick Nurse helped lead the Toronto Raptors to their first NBA championship in 2019. So being amongst those types of players, as you mentioned, and then being coached in an environment with Nick Nurse will help his development. See, that's what it's about, right? It is about you as a player, in my opinion. It's about you as a player and where you are. Which team are you on? Who's willing to develop you? And I think because I believe the Raptors know that there will be some type of transition. I mean, come on now, if you're gonna be learning with Pascal Siakam and OG, I read an article that he actually, trains or has trained with OG Anunoby. Well, why wouldn't you want to?
Yes.
Because don't let OG get in the clutch. Don't let him get on the side and shoot the three because that's one of the things that Scotty Barnes can improve in is making sure that his 3-point shooting and catch and shoot and being available is improved for next year. And so if he's going to be training with OG and got Pascal Siakam on, I mean, what? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he take the next leap? Considering he has mentors on his roster that can help him get there. So yeah, no, he's in a great position. I think he's in a great position,
Yeah,
which will allow him to.
you talked about environment, and that's
Yes.
crucial, right? Scotty was a fourth pick in the 2021 NBA draft. A lot of people were surprised that the Toronto Raptors selected him, including me. I did not think he would go that high in the draft or low, as people say.
Depends on how you look at it. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right, let's talk about the first pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Cade Cunningham drafted to the Detroit Pistons, who have not been very good the last couple of seasons. Cade basically inserted himself into a team that was barely, I mean, golly, 14th, 15th in the NBA. I mean, it's terrible.
Repeatedly. Like, I don't know. Again, back to environment. But you know what? Cade Cunningham gives me Ben Simmons with shooting. Is that fair? A
Hmm.
Ben Simmons type with shooting. If he, and I'm not talking about the Ben Simmons as of late. No, 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 don't. Not Ben Simmons, but because of his height, because of his role as a point guard, because of the fact he can defend, just a little bit of it, and I see him. And that's why I say that, because since he has shooting, that's a part of his package, can make his leap for his sophomore year just that great. Now they did add a new rookie, Jaden Ivey, which may
Yeah.
help, the Pistons and help Cade Cunningham, be more visible. I'm sorry if you're not. This is going to be hard for people to take, but if you are not an avid basketball fan, if you do not have league pass, you may not see the Pistons play. I'm just going to be honest, right? And so what that means is that Cade Cunningham will have to work a little bit harder for his name to be top of mind for a lot of people who are just casual fans. And so because of the market, and so I think that being in an environment that has not been a winning environment, if Cade Cunningham can help turn that around along with the other players that they're building in Detroit, right? Because I believe they're still in their rebuild. And if he can be a part of that, and if he can elevate them to at least a 11th spot, maybe even 10th, on the cusp of a play-in tournament spot, that would be huge. And I think that will help elevate his stock, unfortunately, in the league, because I think he has what it takes. But he's just where he is it's going to be kind of hard.
Yes, as the first pick in the draft, and we all know it is not easy being selected
No,
first, right?
no.
Everyone has a target on your back. Everybody wants to see you either succeed or fail, right?
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
players are coming for you. But Cade Cunningham, he did make the all rookie team, average 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. But I think he has a problem staying healthy and on the court. He only played 64 games last season. Of all the guys that we're looking at, he played the least games. You don't want to start your season, your career that way. Yeah, speaking of a team at the bottom, the Houston Rockets, they drafted Jalen Green, number 2 overall in the 2021 NBA draft. Jalen is a guy, for me, he's very, I don't want to say his game is like Ja Morant, but he comes to the game with the same type of flashiness and style. And he's very explosive at his size, 6'6", 186. I like Jalen Green. He is an all rookie, averages 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, played 67 games for the Houston Rockets. But the Rockets have been horrible. Ever since James Harden left, here Jalen Green is a new player in the league trying to make the biggest sophomore leap. What are the chances?
I'm speechless. I don't really have. Can he be traded? Like, can he ask for a trade? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, if we really want to see the best of Jalen Green, it's not going to be on the Houston Rockets. I don't know. Not this Houston Rockets for the 2022 season, and sure not for the 2023 season with what's going on. I just, yeah, bad move. I mean, wrong timing, maybe? I don't know.
And we
Jalen,
talked about environment as well.
yeah, I don't see
There's no
it.
winning culture down there in Houston for the
Mm.
Rockets. He's playing along Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, Kenyon Martin Jr. is there as
Mm.
well. They're a young team coached by a
Yeah.
fairly young coach, but
Just something is missing for me. I don't know what that is, because if you think about it, the Houston Rockets and the Pistons are about the same when we're talking about being at the bottom of their conferences, right?
yes.
But the hope for the Pistons for me is greater than it is for the Rockets. That's what I'm saying. And so I feel for Jalen Green. I hope that he's able to help move the needle, for the Houston Rockets, but he can't do it by himself. Right. And so I'm not saying these other players are scrubs, because if you're in the league, you can't be, right? Because you're balling against the best, right? And you are in the league as one of the best. So yeah.
Or Jalen Green. All right, so let's move on to Evan Mobley, 3rd pick in the draft, 6'11", 215, playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh my goodness.
My God.
What a great
Yeah.
landing spot for Evan Mobley.
What a great landing spot with a solid coach. Like, Evan Mobley is going to be all right. He's going to be all right. And he has the ability to take that next leap because of the players around him. Right. No different than what Scottie Barnes have. Right. And
Yes,
so
yes.
if Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham are able to take a big noticeable leap without all the other players around them like Scottie Barnes and Evan Mobley have, oh my gosh, that for me would be the biggest move in their career, right? But Evan Mobley particularly, come on now. I mean, what you want him to do? He's going to play the 5? He's going to play the 4? What?
What you mean? Yeah.
What? And he has an opportunity and the anticipation of him being able to be a solid factor in the Cleveland Cavaliers making it to a top 6 spot.
Oh, yes, absolutely. See, lucky for Evan Mobley, he's playing with some top tier talent,
Just
right?
saying.
You talking about Darius Garland? They just added Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen, his twin tower partner in the paint, and Isaac Okoro, who's fairly new to the league as well. Evan Mobley just fits in, I mean, seamlessly to what the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing.
Yeah, and then all being mentored by Kevin Love. Like he has been there forever and won a championship with the franchise. Like what else do you really need? So that's what I'm talking about. So not only do you have a coach that's solid, right? But then you also have a veteran player that's played with the franchise that is still a valuable asset to the team. And then you're playing alongside other players that are just as good as well. It means a lot for a player's ability to take the next leap, because the franchise knows that you have it and they're willing to rally around you to make sure that they give you what you need, right? And open you up to opportunities. And we'll see you a lot if you don't have NBA League Pass. Like, Now I would like to see Evan Mobley add a solid, more consistent 3-point shot to his game. Because if he did that, then he would be right up in the conversation with Joel Embiid. Like he can be right up, because that Joel Embiid footwork, that stuff's so smooth. Being as big as he is, Jokic can go to the perimeter. If Evan Mobley can hone in on that, as he continues to improve his basketball skills for the league, that will be a nice additional threat that the Cavaliers will have on their team.
Ooh, yeah, they're already dangerous. Okay, so now that we've taken a look, I mean, which of these players, if you had to select one, I know I was on the fence, and I know it was difficult for you as well.
It's always difficult for me.
Yes,
yeah, you know what?
Yes.
I really was torn between Scottie Barnes and Cade Cunningham, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh,
however, because Scottie Barnes can be a positionless player, and the Raptors can put him anywhere, and I think that his leap, because he can bring the ball up, because he can defend on the wing, because he can play on the wing, because he can play the fifth, he just can do multiple things. I think that his leap for me would be much greater among all the other players. And so that's why I chose Scottie Barnes.
Nice. Okay. I chose Evan Mobley because of the culture in Cleveland for the Cavaliers. I mean, you talk about Evan Mobley's size and skill set. His defense, he can get with you at the rim. I mean, he's a pretty good shooter. He runs the floor like, oh my God, he understands his role as a basketball player. He knows he's not the first option, but he can step in on any given night and get you a double-double easily. I like that about Evan Mobley.